Hello and thanks for watching. I'm Matt Piper in New York, and this is CBS News Roundup. Here are the top stories. Elon Musk gives all federal workers an ultimatum. Explain in detail what they accomplished on the job last week or be fired. Germany's conservative opposition declares election victory, but the far right comes in second place with its strongest result since World War II. And there's a sharp rise in deadly flu cases, with the CDC calling it the worst flu season in years. More job cuts are on the way this week in the federal government. We are learning the Pentagon is getting ready to fire 5,400 probationary workers who have been on the job for less than a year. U.S. officials say uniformed military personnel are exempt. Also, an email sent by Elon Musk to more than 2 million federal employees has created confusion and conflicting guidance. CBS's Christian Benavides says the details.
In an email Saturday announced first by Elon Musk with a post on X, federal workers were given until Monday to explain what they got done last week or risk losing their jobs. Only hours earlier, President Trump wrote online he wanted Musk to get more aggressive with federal cuts. Republican Utah Senator John Curtis said while he agreed with cutting spending,
if I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives. These are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say we have to cut and you have to be cruel to do it as well.
The threat by Musk prompted backlash by unions representing federal workers, and at least 2 federal agencies told their employees to disregard the email. On Saturday, President Trump met with state leaders at the National Governors Association dinner. He's seeking their support to carry out his mass deportation plans.
We also want your assistance on public safety, especially removing foreign terrorist organizations from America, removing some really bad guys and bad people from America, and we're going to get them out for you.
On Sunday, CBS News learned that the Trump administration is preparing to bring back Title 42, which would allow border officials to quickly deport migrants seeking asylum at the border over what the U.S. calls public health risks. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
And there's more bad news for workers at the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. The Trump administration says it's placing nearly all of the agency's 4,700 full-time staffers on leave worldwide and eliminating at least 1,600 U.S.-based jobs. Agency workers were notified through a memo on Sunday afternoon. It comes after a federal judge on Friday gave approval for the administration to pursue those cuts. Well, mass deportations are a hot political issue in German elections right now, too, where a major political shift is underway. The Alternative for Germany, or AfD, is on track to win about 20% of the vote. That's roughly double its result from 2021. The party is far right, anti-immigration, and wants closer ties with Russia. It also has the support of Elon Musk. CBS's Holly Williams is in Berlin.
It's the AfD's best result since the party was established just 12 years ago. During the campaign, the party's leader, Alice Weidel, pledged to carry out the mass deportation of immigrants. Popular with some voters who believe Germany's let in too many too quickly. Recent violent attacks by asylum seekers have fueled their frustration. But in a country that spent decades coming to terms with its Nazi history, many are outraged.
The far right is taking more and more control of our country, and I'm really worried history is repeating.
German intelligence has placed the AfD under surveillance for suspected extremism, and Germany's mainstream parties have vowed not to form a coalition with them. Despite that, Vice President J.D. Vance met with the AfD's leader in Germany this month and urged Europe to stop isolating far-right parties.
If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you.
Elon Musk publicly endorsed the AfD, making a virtual appearance at one of their campaign events.
I think you're really the best hope for Germany.
And Musk has also voiced support for others on the far right in Europe. Following this election, the pressure is now on Germany's mainstream parties to negotiate a coalition. If they cannot govern successfully, that could further fuel support for the AfD.
Holly Williams, thank you for that report. In the Middle East, Israel is delaying the release of more than 600 Palestinian prisoners. Israel says Hamas gunmen are staging what they call humiliating ceremonies when handing over hostages, and they want it to stop. Also on Sunday, Israel moved tanks and troops into the occupied West Bank for the first time since 2002. Israel's defense minister says tens of thousands of Palestinians who fled will not be allowed to return. Palestinian authorities are calling it a dangerous escalation. The world's Catholics are praying for the health of Pope Francis. The 88-year-old remains in critical condition, suffering from pneumonia in both lungs. The Vatican is describing his condition as, quote, complex. On Sunday, the faithful gathered at masses across the country to pray for the Pope, including at New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral. The pontiff has been in the hospital since February 14th. Blood tests taken from the Pope are revealing early signs of kidney failure. He continues to get high-flow oxygen through tubes in his nose and blood transfusions, which doctors tell CBS News is not a good sign. Pope Francis's prognosis remains guarded. Doctors have been saying it could go either way. Back here at home, the worst flu season in 15 years has left hundreds of thousands of Americans needing care, putting a strain on doctors' offices and hospitals. CBS's Elise Preston reports from California.
Severe and even deadly flu cases are surging across the country in what's shaping up to be the worst flu season in 7 years. We're just halfway through flu season, but already 19,000 people have died from influenza. The CDC says more than 430,000 have been hospitalized.
What is driving this difficult season?
Well, there are probably a number of variables that are associated with this. Lower vaccination rates, lower population immunity, and there's the strains that are circulating that are particularly virulent this year.
These factors could be to blame for an alarming number of infections in children. 86 deaths have been reported in patients 17 and younger. Fewer are getting vaccinated this season than last.
We have the tools to be able to prevent further spread and to protect vulnerable populations, and we should definitely use those because that will save lives and keep people out of the hospital.
Remoyne cautions you can still get the flu even if you're vaccinated, but the vaccine will help you in reducing your severity. Elise Preston, CBS News, Burbank, California.
Straight ahead on CBS News Roundup, murder charges against 6 correctional officers at a New York prison. Prosecutors say they beat an inmate to death and that it was all caught on camera.